we're about to present to you a very special segment. It's going to be an exclusive segment all for you. Let us put our hands together as we get set for a very special chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Ms. Malaika Arora Khan, model, actress, producer, and entrepreneur, our chief guest for the evening, joining us on stage in conversation with none other than Ms. Nisha Jamwal, noted author and luxury brand consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together as I welcome the lovely ladies on stage to give an all-new meaning to the word brand. Welcome, all yours.
It's delightful to be back here. Malaika this evening has been about luxury, and we've been discussing all the subtle nuances of luxury. I was on a very exciting panel earlier today. And one of the things that struck me as luxury was the ability and the way you can live your life on your own terms. To me, that does exemplify luxury. And when I look at you, just to keep you in the loop, Malaika and I have had a friendship we've just discovered spanning over 20 years. And in the time I've seen you, Malaika, I've noticed that while you have done things right, you've had your aha moments, you have been an iconic brand, you've built an iconic brand around yourself. You've also lived life on your own terms. You've not compromised your own personal decisions. When you wanted to do something, you went ahead and did it, despite and in spite. And I respect that. I want to ask you, and I'm sure all of us here are, before we jump into the branding and the marketing and the luxury, I want to ask you a little bit, a few vignettes of your journey.
Well, firstly, good evening, everybody. It's lovely to be here. I'll be honest, I was nervous initially. I was like, I really don't know who's going to be there. What am I going to be saying? Who am I going to be addressing? What are we going to be discussing? All these thoughts kept going through my head. And then I was told Nisha was going to be talking to me, so that kind of made life a little simpler. So coming back to what you said, yes, I do agree that living life on your terms, for me as well, is by far the biggest luxury anybody can have. A few vignettes about me. Where do you want me to start? I think for me, life has pretty much started off on a modeling note.
Did you know that you're going to be a model, or did you plan, and did it happen? Is it a happenstance?
I guess it was just something that kind of I toyed with. It was in my mind. It was something that interested me. It was the biggest stepping stone for me in terms of where I am today, for the person that I am today. I think it kind of opened up so many doors for me. It kind of gave me the opportunity to do so much. So yes, it was modeling. Nothing was intentional. Nothing was premeditated. It pretty much happened by chance. Literally, I would say my life is pretty much unfurled all by chance. That's how I would actually put it.
And one of the things that strikes me as a luxury brand consultant is it is a very competitive scenario, especially the world you come from in entertainment. It's not necessarily easy to stick up there. Like I said, we met 20 years ago when I did a cover story with you.
Yes.
And when I see you today, I think you are better, you are more accomplished, more eloquent. How is it that you're upping your game, that you're staying contextual, that you have turned from a model, which can have a positive side to it, and also perceptions that can be not so positive. But you've turned it all and made it work for you and become into somebody who's endorsing brands and giving that glamour segment to a brand.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I mean, modeling was my stepping stone. It gave me the opportunity to kind of to explore, areas such as fashion or dance or films or any of these, I got the opportunity to do that. Well, like you said, we all come with a shelf life, and it's very
Well, you've obviously defied that.
it's very difficult to see whether you can actually defy that shelf life. Somewhere, I think sometime back did tell me, you kind of defy some of the norms purely because when they say that we can't quite define in what category to put you into. Do we put you into an actor? Do we put you into an entrepreneur? There are so many categories. So I said, why? Why do you need to categorize me? Why do I need to be compartmentalized? I think I'm pretty fine the way I am in terms of the way I can stand alone and do something. And I would also say there aren't too many people in that space. So I don't need to be departmentalized, so to speak. So yes, it's not easy since we do come with a shelf life to constantly up our game, to constantly beat every single norm that there is, every time there is something or the other new that is around the corner. But to stay above, to keep yourself afloat and to keep your head above that water isn't easy. But yes, we do it.
But how do you do it? Just one or two, like vignettes, one or two vignettes, something that perhaps eggs you on to, there are moments in my life where I have felt it's a challenge, or like you said so candidly and so disarmingly that you were nervous. So what is it that, there were one or two moments where you had that sense of something that was catalyzing in your metamorphosis?
Well, it is a challenge. Of course, it is a challenge. You wake up every day, you keep wondering, is today going to be my last day? And when I say last day, I mean in terms of what we're doing, not not leaving completely, but it's always a challenge and wondering, will I have to, just wake up and give it all up? Or is there going to be work tomorrow? How's it going to be? How's it going to pan out? So yes, these are constant fears that you always have, and anybody. Why me? I think everybody has that fear. I speak for myself. So yes, it is a challenge, and I'm not scared. I'm not somebody to run away from that. I'm not somebody to shy away from it. So yes, there is a constant force that pushes me every day, and to want to do better, to want to be able to do better. There's someone new every day around the corner, giving you that extra edge. Literally, I would say that. There's always somebody new to push you and say, you know what, you got to do better, because you never know. So I would always say it is my peers, my contemporaries, people that I work with, who I kind of draw that energy from, draw that will to want to do better. I think that's my biggest strength.
So actually, I want to share with you a vignette. I was consulting with VLCC, and they asked me to choose a woman, a working mother, who looked so fit and beautiful. And the first name that came to my mind, the first name I chose, was Malaika. So Malaika, there have been sacrifices, obviously. It's not easy to stay on top of the game. What were some of those, how did you manage to tightrope walk those sacrifices with your life to become that iconic person who could stand up there and endorse a fitness brand?
Well, yes, you're always faced with those challenges, and I think every woman knows there's always a sacrifice. Every woman will say that there's always a tinge of regret. There's always a tinge of feeling like, oh my God, should I have done this? And I speak for every woman in the in the room today. So yes, same here. But I still remember back then when I started out, there was a lot of opportunities to do films. Everybody kept telling me, you have to do films. If you have to survive, you got to do movies. That's the only way you're going to see yourself, out there. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a child. So for me, the most obvious thing was I can't do films, because if I have to do films, it's somewhere gonna interfere with the fact that I want to have a child.
Absolutely.
Not just about being married, because I think But this is back then. This is a good 22 years back. So it did feel at that time I was like oh my God, I can't. So yes, that was a conscious choice I made, saying that I don't want to do films because I feel it will restrict me in a lot of ways to if I have to have a family, I'm not going to be able to do that on my terms. I'm not going to be able to do it because films require a certain amount of dedication. It requires a certain amount of constant attention, which I felt at that point that I'm not going to be able to do it. And I said, you know what? I don't want to. I rather...
And that was a luxury.
That was.
That's a luxury. That's luxury.
A lot
Living
of people
life.
probably turned around and said, you're stupid for having, you're really silly for having to make that decision. But that's a decision I made. I stick by and no regrets
And
at all.
yet, I must interject with the fact that you did do, you did these beautiful songs where you, I think, in my opinion, I actually remember the movies by the songs. I remember really nothing else. So you managed to create that iconic song on top of a train. Am I right?
That's right. Well, that's what I said. I said,
And you didn't do films. You made that sacrifice, and yet you, got what you wanted in terms of getting that piece of the pie.
Absolutely. It may have been peripheral, but I may have gone about it a different way, but I did it the way I wanted it. I did it on my terms. I did it exactly how I thought I could circumvent and kind of move around it, and that's how I went about it.
I remember reading that, Helen was one of the people who you looked up to. Funnily, I did too.
Yes.
I think we spoke about this. So you went out and did something and changed the perception of that particular genre of doing one song in a film. You changed. I mean, after you, correct me if I'm wrong, there are many film actors who went out and did that one song without thinking they would be typecast.
Absolutely.
So what was the catalyst? What were the the metamorphosis points that made you go out on a limb and do these nearly dangerous things to a career?
Yes, it was. It was pretty sacrilege if you think about it.
So I think you were a game changer in terms of that one, going out on a limb on that one.
Well, if that's how you term it, then yes, it was sacrilege. But I did the
Not sacrilege, game changer.
Well, it was. Well, for me it was, but eventually it was a game changer. Doing those single songs in a film, I had a lot of people turn around and tell me that why would you do that? I mean, what sense does it make? Just doing one. But you know what? Like you said, it was a game changer. And if you look at it today, everybody's doing it. Everybody wants to do it.
I think after you went out, so to me that is being a brand. When you make a decision, when you go out on a limb, and somebody earlier in a presentation very interestingly said, when you dictatorially make a decision, create a point of view, that is being a brand, and that's how you created a brand. So what are some of the thoughts that come to you in terms of your personal life, that responsibility that you carry being a brand?
Well, there's a huge amount of responsibility that comes with being a brand or positioning yourself
or
as a
even
brand.
representing brands.
Absolutely, or representing brands. I mean, it is a fair amount of power. It's a fair amount of responsibility which you take on. It is at the end of the day, I look at it as if I'm a brand, and if somebody's got to have faith in me, they've also got to understand what I stand for, and vice versa. It can't just be a one-sided approach. So if this is what I stand for, you have to make the most of it, and you have to elevate it, and I will do the same to your brand. So to be part of somebody, if I know tomorrow I'm going to endorse a particular brand and be out there, it has to be a symbiotic relationship of sorts, and that's the only way we can move forward.
So, I remember having a chat very recently with Akshay Kumar. He was very vociferous about not smoking. He was very particular that I will never endorse a cigarette brand. And Shilpa, just yesterday, a very dear friend, Shilpa Shetty, shared with me how she doesn't like to endorse fizzy drinks. Do you have any, pet peeves or things that you like to talk about and use your position to talk about or to exemplify?
I'll never ever endorse, and I say it with a lot of conviction. That I'll never ever endorse anything that is harmful to your health, which means smoking. It's something I am dead against. I have a serious aversion towards it, pretty much like the way Akshay probably
Akshay, yes, he was very
about it. So
yes.
I completely second it. I'm just like that. I feel very strongly about certain aspects of my life, be it be it fitness, be it a healthy lifestyle. I propagate it, I promote it as much as I can. Um, at the same time, I do. There are a lot of people around me who, when it comes to a certain lifestyle, it's about whether it is about dieting or living a certain way. I still say a healthy lifestyle. I always add that, a healthy lifestyle.
So that was my next question. When you want to be a brand, when you are, like both of us have turned out to become people that actually speak for brands. When you do that, is there some conscious thought in the path that you've taken in the last so many years to be able to have that standpoint, to speak for brands and to become a brand?
I think it's a reflection of yourself at the end of the day. You have to, if tomorrow, whatever it is you're going to go out there and say and promote, it has to reflect your sensibilities, your ethics, your way of life, and that is exactly how I go about my work, and that's exactly how I pick and choose the brands that I want to be part of, because that is exactly me. That reflects me. I will not do something.
But have you worked at, in your personal journey, were there any conscious decisions that, I'll do this and I'll be this and I'll read this or I'll do this in order to be, or has it been predominantly inadvertent?
Yes, it has. I mean, it's pretty much been the person that I am. So, which means an independent woman. It means somebody who's very, very particular about a certain lifestyle in terms of fitness, etc. In fact, I met somebody 2 days back, and they were talking to me, and they said, "Okay, we see you. We know you do this. We know you do that. But honestly, we don't know the real you. You don't really. I mean, even if we Google you, we don't know the real you." And I'm fine with that. I don't want everybody to know the real me. It's okay. I mean, and when I say the real me, I mean as in there is a personal side to me which I'm fine with not really.
And that's a beautiful tightrope walk.
Yes, it is. And
to be a public persona and yet not have your entire life out there.
She said that. She says, I honestly really don't know. She says, what is the real Malaika Arora Khan? I was like, that's fine. It's still a work in progress. And it will kind of somewhere unfold over the years, and you will know a little bit here, there, and everywhere. So, what's the hurry?
So I think that's very interesting, because I think the enigma, that slight mystique, that mystery, also wouldn't you agree? It goes into building a brand image, having that aura around.
Absolutely.
What we discussed earlier, that aura. And the other thing which I thought was very interesting is you shifted tack, and you have started an interesting venture called Label Life. I find that interesting. It hits me on Instagram every now and then, and I find it edgy, and yet one associates you with glamour, and yet Label Life is very interestingly about a working woman. Absolutely. It's about a woman who I associate with Label Life. So it's glamour, but with that touch of practicality and understatement.
It's bang on. I don't think I need to add too much to that, because that's exactly what it is. When the Label Life came to me, it was a challenge that I had I mean, I wasn't ready for. It fell into my lap, and I said, this is a challenge that I wanna take on, purely because, yes, I'm always associated with fashion, with the whole everything that goes with fashion. I am always associated with it. But like you said, it had a twist. It was not just about being fashionable or just about, let's explore the luxury side of it.
There's a brand philosophy behind it.
Absolutely, and a very, very strong philosophy. It caters to the urban woman, but it also caters to the Indian woman completely in terms of body shape, etc., etc. So we've kept all of that in mind over there, and we're very particular. It is a luxury product, but affordable. So I mean, it's not a paradox. It's not contradictory, but it's exactly what you said. There was a thought process behind it, and we want to make sure we stick to that philosophy. We don't waver from that philosophy, and we will see it through.
And you're using a lot of technology to promote the brand. What are some of the things you feel as a label, as a brand, you are, contributing to in terms of putting the message out there?
See, firstly, it's a completely online venture. I knew nothing about what online meant. I knew nothing. I didn't even know how to go online and shop. I'll be very honest. I knew nothing about it. It it was literally taught to me from scratch. I kind of figured how it's done, what has to be done. I learned it, and it was amazing. We have three amazing, me including, three lovely women who are on the brand, which is one. We have Suzanne Khan, we have Bipasha
Bipasha.
Basu, and myself. We all look into various aspects of making your life wonderful. I have the wonderful opportunity of bringing fashion and clothing to you. Suzanne brings home decor to you, and Bipasha does accessories.
But you're also the style editor.
So yes, we all are editors of our own
I
in our
see.
own space. We
Okay.
all bring about our own personality into each one of these modules. So that's pretty much how it is. And I'm really, really happy and proud to say that it's one of the fastest growing startups that is there around. And I'm really happy and proud that I can be part of something like this. It gives me the opportunity to connect to another level. Absolutely. I mean, I speak to women so often. I meet women so often. I think the proudest moment for me is when I meet somebody, a lady somewhere, and she's wearing something from my brand, and she comes up, and I look at her and I said, oh my God, you're wearing the label Life. For me, that's the best moment.
So that's been a very interesting chat. I know that it's important to have enigma, mystique, mystery, but I do want to get into one side of your life and ask you how you so adroitly multitask your personal life with work and the wellness part of it. Because I do believe that wellness and staying on top of the game is a luxury. Because if you don't look the part, you can't sell the part. So give us a few, vignettes, if you may, on how are you multitasking so many aspects of your life so adroitly,
That's
without eroding your mystique.
no. I think multitasking comes pretty naturally. I think that's something that comes to us, and I think each one of these aspects go hand in hand. Um, they all may sound a little difficult in terms of how do you do it, but I think at the end of the day, it all is pretty seamless. If and I don't just speak for myself. I speak for all the women. I think we multitask beautifully, and I can actually do it. I have the luxury to be able to say that each one of these departments lets me do and explore and be the person that I am. So whether it is at home what I do, whether it's bringing up a child, whether it's working, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whether it's producing a film, I have the luxury of doing each one of them completely.
And that
on
is
my
the
terms.
great luxury, isn't it?
It is.
Like
I would never trade that for
Amir
anything.
Khan says in Three Idiots,
Mm.
to pursue your passion and make it your work is the greatest luxury
Luxury.
that we can have. So I've had the luxury to say no to a lot of things, but when I was told just yesterday that would you have a fireside chat with Malaika, I said definitely, because she does exemplify a lot of the things that I believe in. Malaika, it's been such a pleasure, and thank you for sharing such lovely, inspiring parts of your life and
you.
exposing to our audience today what you term luxury and why you've taken yourself from being a model to a brand. Hats off to you.
Thank you so much, Nisha, and I hope everybody managed to get a little bit of that insight. Thank you all.
Thank you so very much, ladies. We truly think that this was a very special conversation that each one of us got a bite of, and I'm sure each one of us here in the audience believes that you're really defying the shelf life bracket there. We wish you all the very best with labellife.com. And to thank both of you for your time and your presence, may I please invite Mahendra on stage yet again from the entire team of ET Edge. He's here to appreciate your presence. Let us put our hands together. Thank you, Ms. Jamwal. Capturing all three of you in one frame. Thank Thank you so very much. Ladies, may I